wanted to. I don't come from a family of lawyers. I have no lawyer role models in my family, but I love my family, very close with them, and I certainly have some really wise business owners. And from a business standpoint, I thought I would try to offer something a little different in law to people. It was different than where I was working at the time. It was also different than what you typically think of for a law firm. And that's kind of our mentality where at the office. And it's more approachable. We don't have mahogany walls. We don't have bookcases of old books that have never been used. I mean, we're approachable. I don't have a big wall up to where you can't get past the receptionist. We want to be approachable and less intimidating. And
Sure.
while of course at the same time, still offering really accurate practice, all of that. So
Absolutely.
But I always wanted to be a lawyer since I was 16.
So 16. All right. So where'd you go? So you're local? You're a local boy, born and raised?
I was born in Asheville, raised actually out in Canton in Haywood County.
Okay. So some people know this. Look at this. Our Facebook Live video has ended. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Hold on one second. I'm jumping back in. Last time we had 2 videos. This time we'll have 2 videos.
That's
I will
fine.
not let this defeat us tonight. Either way, we're still recording right now. So we'll just keep it going. This might just be a recorded video tonight.
That sounds good.
Yep. Anyway, so a lot of people that I've been meeting a lot of people new since I've been in town, and which really just got here back in November. And but I'm originally from here also. A lot of people don't know that, but I grew up out in Leicester. Well, I grow up. I use that kind of loosely because I left when I was 10 years old, and we moved down to Florida. And since I was from the time we moved, I was always telling myself when I was 18 years old, I was going to move back to North Carolina. Well, at 18, the beaches were calling my name. And so it took me a couple extra years. I turned 40 this past year, so I missed it by just this much.
Yeah.
But so it's been really fun coming back home. I'll tell you what's interesting, man. This is not the town I moved away from, though.
Not at all. Yeah.
From the time I moved away, I've only come back up a few times to visit before actually ultimately relocating back here to live. But it seemed like the Asheville area had such a crazy, every time I came back to visit, it was a different city. I'll never forget the first time I came back. I think I was probably, well, not the first time I came back, but I came back when I could actually be mindful of the surroundings, and I wasn't a kid anymore, and we're looking at downtown versus what I remembered versus what it had turned into. And the first time that I heard that you could buy $1 million condos in downtown Asheville, I was blown away. I mean, it was just crazy. It's just a completely different area. So, all right. So you're local, born and raised. Where'd you go to college at, man?
Went to undergrad at UNC Chapel Hill, and actually followed your lead and went to law school at the beach in Jacksonville, Florida. So
nice.
I went down there for 3 years. Loved college, loved law school. I thought I would hate law school, but I loved it.
Right.
It helped that it was at the beach, to be honest.
Sure. The beach helps everything, man.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have to read it, you can read a law case that's 80 pages long, or you can read a law case that's 80 pages long on a beach.
It just instantly becomes better. It instantly becomes better. Yeah, the beaches I love, but my later on in life, since really getting into my professional career, or deeper into it rather, everybody asks me all the time. So I mean, you go to the beach all the time, right? And I'm like, not as much as I would like to, man. I live, the house we just closed on our house we sold in Florida yesterday.
Oh, nice. And congrats.
Thank you very much. And so glad. Everybody's dealing with a lot of issues right now. Yeah. So we consider ourselves blessed to be able to get that done without any issues. But the house is 25 minutes from the beach to from my front door to toes in the water be 25, 30 minutes. And I can't tell you the last time I actually went to the beach. It's actually pretty sad. When I was younger, it was a little nice, a little more of a priority, but later in life, man, it's just huge.
Hey, I don't go on as many hikes as I would like to, and I live here.
Well, I was talking with somebody about that the other day, and it's like, I hope part of the allure to moving back home to Asheville is the outdoor activity, the hiking, the trails, I hope hopefully it'll take a while for that novelty or to wear off, because I mean, like literally everybody's like, man, I'd be at the beach every day. I'm like,
Yeah, but
eh,
that's not how it works.
eh, whatever. So, man, we've been living in some crazy times right now, and like the everybody's, I think North Carolina in general, right? I guess we're under stay-at-home order. Are they calling it shelter in place, or are they calling it stay-at-home order? Does it matter? Is there a difference?
I don't think so. Everything that is in the order is what actually, what the paragraphs in the order is what
Sure.
matters. Whatever they call it doesn't.
Right.
But
We
yeah,
just Florida today, actually tonight at midnight, finally has enacted their, or actually I don't even know if it's Florida, but Duval County has enacted their stay-at-home order, and
I think Florida did.
finally, right? They
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, as a Floridian, some of what was going on was not a good look for us, right? People all over the beaches and all that stuff. I mean, I love the fact that people are getting out in the nature and exercising and being one with the land and all that. But unfortunately, the beach was, I mean, it looked like the club on a Friday night. I mean, everybody was out there partying. The spring break didn't help it either.
Yeah.
But anyway, so in Asheville, in Buncombe County, I guess the shelter in place, or the stay-at-home order they called it, that kind of went into place, what, a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago almost?
Yeah, it ends, on paper it ends on the 9th. We'll see if that gets extended. I believe it will. I don't want it to, but I
Right.
believe it will. I believe it will. I think I heard on the Buncombe County little press conference. I listened to the very beginning of it because I love when Buncombe County does a press conference, because they really do give you the information you really care about right up front. You don't have to wait. But from what they said, they had 33 cases in Buncombe County. All but 3 of those, one of them had passed away, which is very sad, very unfortunate,
Sure.
obviously. I think that person, they said that person was very elderly and had other conditions, which of course doesn't make it okay.
Sure.
But only one person out of 33 has died. And I think they said all but 3 were recovered.
Well,
That's a big deal.
That's an interesting point what you make. Like we as by no matter what, first of all, I'd like to say I am drinking a glass of vodka, so I would like to say no matter what comes out of my mouth, it's just simply my opinion at this point. There's no real substance behind it. But what's killing me right now is, while there's a lot of major concern for what's going on, I'm not going to downplay anybody's concerns. We're all concerned about different aspects of this thing. But what's killing me is, like, when you go to the CDC website or some of these places that are reporting the awful red map, right, that shows all the infections on the world. What's killing me, and I think what's creating a lot of mass hysteria, again, not to downplay it, is the fact that those maps show total cases, but none of them are taking into account the ones that have recovered and walked out.
Yeah, sure.
And so it looks horrible. It looks horrible, but to 33 cases and all but 3, if that's what the numbers are, recovered. I mean, I feel sorry for those 3, but that's not as bad as it could be.
If you say it from the other side, we have 3 active cases in Buncombe County. That's amazing.
Right.
I mean, it might get a lot worse. It probably will get a lot worse, at least a little bit. But man, I think that's awesome that we only have 3 active cases right now.
Well, there was a lot of moaning and groaning.
I
know what you mean, exactly. There's a lot of moaning and groaning when in any community with the shelter in place hits. I mean, because there's a lot of good people that are getting kind of messed up right now. From not the sickness, from the economic impact. And so I hate to see any city, any county that has to go through that. But interestingly enough, North Carolina had, in the grand scheme of things as a whole, a lot fewer cases than, say, New York or California or whatever the case is. So while, there's a lot of people that feel we may have extreme measures in place, at least they put them in before it got out of hand.
That's it.
I am happy, especially moving back to Buncombe County and all that stuff. I am happy that it was more of a preventative measure as opposed to a reactive measure, as it's been in a lot of places. So, but anyways, I'm not the CDC and certainly not an expert. I do know that we are all living in this craziness together. So what's quarantine life look for you, man? I mean, you're a young man, you're an attorney, a man of you got a lot of stuff going on. But so what has the quarantine life looked like for you? I mean, how's it changed what your day-to-day looks like?
This right here is going to get really big. That's the direction it goes, by the way. That's the only direction it goes. So, I don't know when my next haircut will be, but Yeah, I guess I could get some clippers if I had to.
Hey
Yeah.
man, I'll tell you what, my boy, I got a 10-year-old son. He was looking raggedy the other day, and I tightened his fade up in the garage. If you want, man,
Nice.
I'll bring the clippers up. I'll hook
All
you up.
right, we may do that 'cause it's going to get bad.
No, wait a minute. Caveat: his hair looks like a hot mess right now. So,
But yeah, I live downtown, so my little place overlooks Mellow Mushroom. I can see it right now, and
nice.
it's honestly, it's good. It's again, I'm a cheerleader for Asheville in all ways. So of course I'm going to be a cheerleader for Asheville on how we're handling everything. But people at least now do seem, at least downtown, to be being responsible. There's social distancing. Restaurants, I mean, Mellow Mushroom, they bring your pizza out to you, that you can't even go in there and get it. You sit in your car and wait on it. You call and talk to them on the phone. There's a lot of restaurants doing that. You pull up, they have a phone number outside. You call them, they bring your food out. I mean, I don't know. It keeps them open and it gets you food. And, downtown Asheville is daily, when this is not going on, just crowded with people everywhere.
Sure.
And it is empty. I mean, it's kind of eerie. I'll walk through downtown. I'll go on a walk. I might see 20 people on a 10-minute walk, and it's good and bad. Of course, it's amazing that everyone's doing what they should, but it's eerie.
Right.
But yeah, it's me and my dog. You can see my dog. She's laying right there.
What's the dog's name?
Daisy.
Daisy. Oh, she looks super interested in this Facebook.
Yeah, she's so interested. He sleeps about 23 hours a day. So.
No, that's a lot. I thought I had the laziest dog that has ever existed on the face of this earth. My dog is a blonde golden retriever. It's a female, and the name is Frankenstein. So my son got to name the dog. We were like, "What do you want your new puppy to be called?" He's like, "Frankenstein." I'm like,
"That's what it's going to be
perfect."
called.
So now she goes by Frankie. But she's a golden retriever. We were expecting tricks, stunts, all sorts of fetching. This dog, all she does is fetches a nap, like 24/7. The laziest thing I've ever seen in my life. So you get her out, taking her walks through the town. And all that?
I took her to the dog park a week or two ago. It's funny. Again, neither of us are experts. We'll probably say that 100 more times during this video. But some people, even at the dog parks, which is hilarious, there were people that were like, "Don't touch my dog," and I'm like, "Well, don't bring him to the dog park. Are you crazy?" But anyway, it's funny because even people there, it was good. Again, they were like, "Hey, like your dog," or whatever. But it was fun. We got out there and it was really nice a weekend or two ago. And I took her out to the dog park, and so I'll take her out for walks and stuff. But mostly, it's honestly, it's work and home, and I'm very lucky and blessed to be able to work.
You're right, exactly. We're going to dive into that in just a second. But I got to tell you, what it was probably 2 weeks ago. I was in downtown Asheville, and I was stir crazy. I think it was the first weekend that they actually laid down the stay-at-home order, and I'm sorry, but I didn't stay at home. I did not go out in public necessarily. I did not tangle up with anybody, but I did get in the car. It was a beautiful day. I opened up the sunroof and just drove around. And I went down, I think I pulled over on the side of Lexington and on the downside, on the other side of Patton, like I guess closer to Weaverville, or heading that direction. Anyways, and I just pulled over, turned up the music, and sat there for a minute, and was the only thing that could come to my mind was how bad I wanted to get on a skateboard and just zip all the way. Now, mind you, I will kill myself if I'm on a skateboard, but it seemed like the most appropriate time ever to just go ripping through because there was nobody. There wasn't anybody on the sidewalk or anything. No. And it was, again, I guess like you said, it was a bit eerie, but also slightly fascinating. I would tell you what I would also love to do is put the drone up in the sky and just get some really quiet shots, because I don't think you can get that at any other time.
You can't. And I saw someone, I'm trying to remember exactly where they took it, but I've seen one of those, and it was really cool and really eerie at the same time. Just Asheville with no one in it. It looked like a toy model of Asheville.
Right.
There was no one on the street.
It's crazy. All right. So here's a question for you. So if we're cooped up and you are in the house and you are doing your social distancing, you got your quarantine going, you and Daisy are not laid back, what are you vegging out on Netflix right
Oh goodness. Okay.
now?
Um, well, we both talked a little bit about this earlier. Tiger King is taking the world over.
Oh my God.
I'm about halfway through it. So I hear my staff talking about it, and they'll be like, "Don't tell Zeno, don't tell Zeno what happened." So I have fallen into that abyss. About halfway anyway. So I've been watching that. Man, it's funny. I'm one of those people that I'm an Office fan, the show The
You're
Office.
right. Yeah, me too.
That's one of those shows you put on when you're, doing laundry or washing dishes or something. Just let it play. I don't know how many times I've seen it all the way through, at least if it's been on. So that gets watched a lot on my Netflix while I'm doing all kinds of different things. But I just checked out, what was it? I'm trying to remember. I think I've started Parks and Recreation, which that's an
Okay.
older show, but it's on there. It's really funny. Yeah, man,
Me,
there's tons of them. New
the
movies are
one
out.
I find myself slipping into really dark shows, man. Well, first
Hmm.
off, I had seen just one too many people blaming Carol Baskins for everything. I'm like, who the hell is Carol Baskins?
Uh-huh.
And so, and all the tiger memes and all that stuff all over Facebook. So we started watching Tiger King the other day, and I gotta
Uh-huh.
say, it was the most exquisite train wreck I've ever seen in my life. It's like you
Yeah.
can't take it away. It's like on one hand, I find myself looking at Joe Exotic, like, what are you wearing? On the other hand, I'm thinking I could probably pull off this sequin outfit.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. And then hearing that apparently drama from this show has opened up other legal issues for people in the show.
Yeah.
It's
It's
crazy. But I
crazy.
tell you what, the show that I've watched several seasons, a couple seasons deep, and I've started the third. Have you seen Ozarks?
Mm-mm.
I love it. I
But I
love
want
it.
to I want to watch it. I like that actor a lot anyway.
Oh, I love him.
Just haven't
Yeah,
started it yet.
whatever. I love. He's got this very dry, sarcastic. Like I can't think of the guy's name, but
Is it Bateman or something?
something like that. Something. But he's hilarious. He plays a very serious role in that show, but he's got a very a sarcastic, comedic edge to him, which I love. And
Yeah.
then I found myself circling back around to Narcos, the whole Pablo Escobar
Oh yeah. I've
story.
heard that's good too. I haven't seen it.
Really good. It's one of those ones I can't turn away from. Anyway, so that's what we're watching on Netflix, guys.
Yes. Check it
All
out.
right, so let's dive into this a little bit. Obviously, you are an attorney, and you focus primarily, if not exclusively, into real estate law,
Hmm.
and that's obviously how you and I tangled up. So, talk to me a little bit about just. I know this is going to be a vague question, but what would you say the overall uh, vibe is around? Are we seeing? I mean, I guess what I'm saying are we seeing that people are optimistic
Yeah.
in the real estate community? Are we seeing that people are concerned? Obviously, they're concerned, but do you
Yeah.
see is it more pessimism
It
or
is.
optimism?
It is all over the place right now. With attitudes, with worries. It is. But I will say that a lot of people are. Desperation leads to innovation. People are really, really coming up with great ideas on how to. If they can't show a home, they figure out a way to. Virtually show it. Can the listing agent, seller even take a video and send it to us? People are being smart, thinking outside the box, and I think people are hopeful. At the end of the day, if your job is fairly secure, a lot of people have lost their jobs, which is terrible. But if your job is fairly secure, it's still a great time to buy. The rates are still really low. If you don't have, if you're blessed to not have to worry so much, I mean, it's affecting everyone to some extent. But hey, if you're in the medical field, I don't want to make light of everything going on, but you're busy, obviously. You're not
Sure.
going to have a problem with your job. So there's a lot of people like that are in essential jobs, especially that aren't going to go anywhere. And I found that a lot of the people we work with had some closings to sort of scheduled to get them through. And as long as, of course, those don't terminate, that gets them through. So a lot of people are hopeful. Everyone is holding their breath to see how long this lasts.
Oh, of
That's
course. I got to tell you, we ran an agent panel this morning with 5 of really, really productive agents here in town. And we had an audience of, it bounced around. It was close to 70, 100. It fluctuated.
Yeah.
But what was really interesting was hearing the people that were on the panel talk and hopefully share optimism that we are dealing with a lot of mess in this industry right now. And what's crazy is, unlike issues that we've faced in the past that were legitimate financial concerns, a lot of this is driven by panic and fear. Not saying that there's not a valid reason for the panic or fear, but there's no real financial crisis here. So while we're all having to dig deep and pull ourselves up by the bootstraps right now, I got this feeling, this overwhelming feel of optimism when they're talking, that everybody seems to think that when this curtain gets lifted, whenever it be, maybe it's the 9th, maybe it's the 30th, hopefully not much beyond that, there's this overwhelming feeling of optimism that when it comes back, this whole economy could potentially rebound pretty heavy and pretty fast.
Everybody I know in this town, the people I hang out with and work with most often, they're going to hit the ground running fast.
Right.
And certainly I'm working very hard to get through it. I come from a family of small business owners. And it's funny. My mom just got interviewed in Waynesville by WLOS. It was
nice.
a day or two ago. And she owns a furniture store out there on Main Street. And she called, I was very proud of her. She called small business owners scrappy. And I love that, because scrappy will get you through this kind of thing.
Sure.
But you do have to be scrappy. You
Right.
can't just sit at home. That's my opinion, of course.
Well, I agree with you.
By sit at home, by the way, sit at home. But don't spend some time working on yourself.
Less time with Exotic Joe or whatever whatever his name is.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, that's kind of one of the things that we've been talking with a lot of people, and that we talked about on our panel today, is I think while we're dealing with a lot of uncertainty, and who knows when the curtain's actually going to be lifted, but I have never seen a more appropriate or valuable time to be able to invest in our craft a little bit, in our knowledge base, in our personal development, whatever the case is. It sucks that we're dealing with this crap. It really sucks. But we can do one of a couple of things. We can lay around and eat the snacks, which I eat my snack game's at an all-time high right now. It really is.
Brain food,
Right. But if we're going to have to be cooped up and we're going to have to be sitting around, there's still online classes. There's still books that you can read. There's a lot of free tools that we can be doing to push ourselves forward, because this is just my opinion, but I think those that continue to invest in themselves during this time, when this curtain gets lifted, I hate to say that there's rewards that come from troubles, but there will be. The people that are keep pushing forward will find ways to rebound faster. And unfortunately, if we lay around and don't focus on what life will look like in 90 days, I think that's where a lot of the hardship's going to come in.
It is not, again, opinions. I don't think it's insensitive to say what is true. There's a lot of opportunity right now. And that can be seen as so many different things. There's a lot of opportunity to educate yourself better. There's a lot of opportunity to think of new ways to market yourself. And with the virtual and online marketing, you can do it from anywhere.
Sure.
So I think there is a lot of opportunity to at least get out of the gates a little faster than everyone who's not doing it. And I think that for any kind of business that is out there, I think that you don't have to come out of the gate when this is all lifted standing up finally and walking. I think you can come out of it, at least ready to hit the ground.
Well, I think it's the best we can all do, because who knows what's really waiting for us on the other side of this thing. But to not prepare is kind of silly. Yeah, it doesn't mean preparation is going to be different for everybody. What I got to say is, with, day in and day out, I surround myself with real estate professionals. So most of what I say is exclusively focused on the real estate industry. That's who I talk to. That's who my
Yeah.
sphere is. That's who I tangle with every day. But I've been really impressed by the Asheville real estate community as a whole right now, because sure, there's people that are concerned about our future, but everybody seems to be focused on the positives in life and focused on how we're going to rebound from this. Whenever you have yourself surrounded by people that are positive and have a, growth mindset is the term. It seems like you just rebound faster. Your circle rebounds faster if you surround yourself with positivity and good thoughts. I think you put yourself in a position for growth. If the opposite is if we go on here to Facebook, where, by the way, we are not live. It's not happening. If you go on Facebook and all your information, all the people you surround yourself with is just that never-ending stream of negativity that's out there, it's real easy to kind of slip into, the darkness or whatever it is.
100%.
Like, instantly, just then I was reminded of the movie The Never-Ending Story. Where the horse goes down, like, in the swamp of despair or whatever it was, because it had bad thoughts. I don't know why that just popped in my head, but I think that's what Facebook reminds me of right now. And honestly, that's why if I could ever figure out how to do this live show, that's what I wanted this to be, was if we're going to be on Facebook and we're going to be, in that medium, why not have something positive to look at? Because I'm going to tell you, there's facts, and the facts are scary sometimes, but there's a lot of just crap out there that's not true and just stupid.
Yeah. I think it's very, very important to focus on the positive. I think it's more productive to focus on the positive. I think you're wasting your time, 90% of it, when you're worrying about something. And I'm a victim. I do this all the time, but I have to remind myself, look, let's focus on the positive. Let's think about how it can be productive instead of worrying about whether this is going to happen. And 9 times out of 10, it's not, for a certain thing, whatever.
You know what I love though right now is that whether it be, of course you and I live in the real estate world, but all over Facebook and Instagram, you see these pictures of people taking, which we're going to do here in just a second, taking picture of the Zoom call where people are choosing to still make effort to connect with people and spread positivity. I love that. It's interesting. We got we just finished processing our deadline for our May issue of the magazine, and my whole publisher note that I wrote was about the need for connection. We are a very social society, and we crave connection. I know I crave connection, and I didn't realize how much connection I really needed or craved until it wasn't readily available. And so I love seeing that people are finding new ways to connect with their friends, their family, their audience, instead of just slipping into a CNN or Fox coma where it's just whatever. All right. So now that we both know that we're optimists, so let's jump back to the real estate talk real quick. So one of the things that I'm seeing a lot of agents that are concerned about, part of this whole unknown is, let's say we've been out there, we're doing our, we're having success with our virtual showings, our virtual open houses, and we get a buyer that's on the hook that's like, you know what, this is still the right time for me to buy. I want to buy. How are the closings happening right now? How are we handling this situation in a world of social distancing?
Right. So different offices are doing it different ways. The way my office has approached it, we are certainly taking it very seriously. But the truth is, we're approaching it with a lot of common sense. We're social distancing like you're supposed to do everywhere. We're trying to be as accommodating as we can. That's the long and short of it. So if people want us to send them documents, we send them documents, and we'll help them find a notary that's working, which is not easy right now.
Right.
To go to them. And, we tell them, we warn them, take precautions, make sure that notary that's coming to you that we don't maybe know is taking precautions, all that kind of thing. Honestly, personally, would rather people come into our office. I know that sounds maybe crazy, but I know for sure that what we're doing in my office, I can control that.
Sure.
And I know that my clients are sitting at the safest table, the cleanest table they've sat at. And I'll put that up against anybody's, because I have very, uh, uh, I have staff that take this very seriously. And it's funny, Carmen, my post closing paralegal, and she also handles the front desk. She comes in every morning with this big vat of medical grade disinfectant. I don't even know where she got it. You have to wear gloves to even wipe it. You can't let it touch your skin. But anyway, she wipes down everything, and she does that after every closing. I mean, it is the cleanest environment ever. And I sit 6-7 feet away from people. I got long arms,
Right.
and
Like
it is.
sliding it across the table to them.
I mean, you have common sense, and we of course wouldn't let anyone in that had symptoms, and that luckily hasn't come up yet. But if they did, hopefully they would let us know. But we would also watch for that. I mean, common sense, gloves, masks, stuff like that if needed. I've had clients come in and wear masks, and they told me, this is not anything about you. This is just making sure that we don't give it to you. I mean, it's been like that. And at least in my office, most everyone is upstairs.
Sure.
So, if we want to talk about who is at risk, it's me. I'm not. I take precautions, and so we're trying to be as accommodating as we can while also having common sense. We just talked about there are three, well, that we know of, three tested positives in Buncombe. I mean, the odds are also right now pretty low that someone's going to walk in with it.
They are, but
If we were having some huge hot zone, I
sure.
may walk in and change all of this.
Right. No, I love the fact that you're taking the precautions, and I do know we've talked about, we've joking around a little bit, but I know you're also somebody that's ultra focused on the well-being of our friends, our family, our clients, our agents. So I mean, and not to put you on the spot here, but y'all doing things like after each closing, maybe making sure the tables are wiped down and all that good stuff. I mean, so
Yeah.
basic precaution stuff. Things
Yeah.
that maybe we may take for granted in a typical world. But,
Sure.
it's interesting. Another conversation. Oh, Daisy's active. I see her moving.
Exactly.
So one of the things that we were talking about on our panel today was there's certain things that are happening in today's world in our day-to-day business that 3 weeks ago wouldn't have happened. I've been to your office, dude. It's super clean anyways. But maybe we weren't wiping tables down after every closing.
Absolutely, we weren't.
Right,
Absolutely,
exactly.
we weren't.
But
I mean,
one of the things I'm curious of, and maybe it's not the disinfecting processes, but there's a lot of people that are doing a lot of things that we weren't doing 3 weeks ago.
yeah.
In my business, and I think, and looking at all the realtors and even attorneys and just all the providers in this industry, there's a lot of great practices that are happening right now that I don't know that would have been implemented had we not been force fed this crap that we're dealing with.
No, and it's going to. This will change us in some ways.
It
It
will, but
will.
I think there's going to be ways that the change is a good thing.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
So like looking at you and I both, we cater and take care of realtors. That's what we do. But I got to tell you, looking at how a lot of these agents have adapted their business into being a very video focused, and these are all
Yeah.
things. Look, I've been in this game for 22 years, and for the past 10 years, I haven't been to a single conference that they haven't said video is the new thing. It's the way of the future.
Mhm.
For 10 years. But everybody knows the video thing, knows those ways of marketing are good, but too many people say, I don't like the way I look in front of a camera. I don't like the way I sound. And I'm one of those guys. I think I sound like I'm dying on camera, which, in the comments at some point, they'll tell me, yes, you're dying. But I think using that as an example, I think there's a lot of people that are now being forced to adapt to new business practices
Mhm.
that I think it's just good business practices in general that
Yeah.
maybe they wouldn't have changed had they not been forced to do this. But hopefully, what's one of the good things that can come of this is new, more solid business practices. So I say all that about video to say, is there anything in your life that you're now doing that you're doing because of this situation that you can see maybe is a good practice for the future,
Good
personal
practice.
or business?
You know, Yeah. So certainly, we're all being so mindful about. Let me put it this. Here's one funny example. I don't really know how to make this better. Hopefully, I like to shake hands with people. I shake hands with people 10 times, 20 times a day. That's probably going away to some certain extent. I mean, I don't know. But here's what's funny. I'll walk in, I'll shake hands and say, I'm Zeno. It's nice to meet you guys. Welcome. That's how I introduce myself. I've started noticing that I walk into closings now, don't even introduce myself because it's so muscle memory. Do it when I'm shaking their hand. I completely forget to introduce myself. I just walk in with paper and I'm like, hey guys.
Let's
And so
do this.
I've had to start thinking about this and be like, I need to introduce myself when I walk into a room and don't shake hands. It's
Right.
weird. Yeah, I know that's not really the question you asked, but trying to figure out how to approach things differently than in the past. You
Do you
know,
think the elbow bump is here to stay?
the Hillary handshake, as they call it. I don't know. It might be. I've been doing air high fives across
There
the
you go. That's
table.
good.
Um, it's so interesting, and being mindful, just about that kind of thing. Being mindful. You know, my staff. I tell I've designated a staffer as the COVID-19 guru. I don't want to be it. And basically, she's going to keep me informed and make sure we're being smart. And she's going to do it anyway. So I just designated it to her.
Right. Is
That way,
this the cleaning solution
it
lady?
is. She guessed it. And so, if she brings me something that, and so I don't know, being more mindful about that kind of thing is always smart. I don't know. I like handshaking. I hate to think that would go away.
Dude, you're a very personable dude, which is one of the reasons you and I connected so quickly. The handshake's coming back, brother.
I
It's
hope
coming
so.
back. There's no way it's not coming back.
Yeah, yeah,
But okay, so one of the things, different businesses have different marketing practices,
sure.
and I've noticed from the jump off since you and I started talking and working together, you're pretty forward with your marketing efforts. Has there been anything? Has this COVID-19 situation, has it
Yeah,
changed anything in the way that
yes.
you're currently marketing?
Oh man, well, if you're me, I'm a marketing, I'm a marketing fiend. I market all the time. I enjoy it. That's the truth. A lot of people
Sure.
don't know that. Um, I don't market just to try to get business. I don't market just everything just because whatever. I market because I enjoy it. I like meeting people. I like networking.
Sure.
And so I really enjoy that part of my business. I wanted to own a business. I own a business now, and a big part of that I enjoy is marketing. Um, I had all kinds of things get canceled that I was really looking forward to marketing wise because of this. All kinds of things that were big deals, honestly, for my business. And one day, hopefully, I'll get another second chance at those. But absolutely, it's changed. And now, the only thing I can really do to market is answer questions online, which I try to do as much as I can, and accommodate people, especially realtors who are a little bit limited right now on what they can do. Try to accommodate them and what their efforts are, because that's some kind of marketing. I'm trying to help them do their business so that hopefully we'll work together.
Dude, I think I think that's hitting the nail on the head. So to me, marketing and like you, I am a marketing junkie.
Mhm.
It's how it's how any business I've ever had has thrived. But I don't look at marketing as exclusively just trying to push business forward. I think the best form of marketing, which I'm super excited seems to be coming back as the norm right now, is relationship building.
Yeah,
Right?
100%.
If your marketing efforts are showing the people that you do or want to do business with that you care about them and their well-being, I don't know that there's any better marketing that you can do, especially and basically exclusively if it's authentic. If you
Yeah,
actually care about the people you're talking to, if you're actually concerned about their well-being, that's better than any Facebook post that you could do. Now,
that's
if
true.
you genuinely care, you're authentic, and you couple it with some witty Facebook materials, even better.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things I've been really excited to see. And that's kind of when that was a loaded question I asked you a minute ago about practices that maybe might stay, is I think that as a whole, our community and the world outside of real estate as well, the effort to focus any business growth on a genuine desire to connect and help people, I think that's the best marketing that we can possibly do.
I do too.
I've noticed that you're very good about that. I've been, I'm not in North Carolina. I've been a realtor in the industry for 22 years, but in North Carolina, I'm not licensed. I have zero intention on being licensed. But I was excited that when you did invite me to kind of be the creeper in one of your real estate agent Facebook groups, I got to tell you, you do go above and beyond to make sure questions are answered. You're very engaging with your audience, and I think that's special. And I think in a time like this, when there's more questions than answers, I think the fact that you're just there and trying to help the audience is very special. And so kudos for that. I think you've been very successful with that.
Thank you. That's a great group. And I don't have all the answers, and I love it because, I have more. This is just the truth. I have many more. I've got some great attorney mentors. I have many more realtor mentors who have been doing this forever that I run things by all the time.
Sure.
And so I like to get them in there because, it's a shared wisdom thing.
Well, yeah, you've put together, and there's a lot of agents from all different brokerages, which is awesome. I love when there's a mix of mindsets and backgrounds, and it's not one voice in that group.
Right.
But I love the fact that, you can see people participating. What's all makes a good group, and this is your group, it's any group, it's whatever, but whenever you can have a question, let's say there's always the person that runs the group, so you're in this case, but whenever you have this question that comes into the group, obviously you're going to answer because it's your group and that's why you created the group. But what I've enjoyed about the collection of personalities you've gotten there is that everybody's willing to chime in a little bit. Nobody's obviously trying to give legal advice, but everybody's really ultra willing to share their experiences.
Yeah.
And so what you've got there is a forum of collaboration, which is, as anybody knows, hits me like right here. Like, I think that's one of the best things for our industry that we can do. So anyways, I was very excited to be a part of that. I literally chime in never. I'm like the creeper in the background that's just watching, like, oh, that's a good question right there. But I'm a stalker, and that's okay. All right. So really only one other question I have, and this is, we've been all over the place, which is exactly what I wanted the format
that's what I want. Yeah.
We've got, and I'm curious from an attorney's perspective here, and by no means do I want to take you down a path where we're giving legal advice here, because this is a very generic question.
Sure.
We've got even in this market right now with COVID-19 and everything, we have a very fast moving real estate market here in Asheville.
Yeah.
Faster. I've experienced markets all across the country, and this one it's a doozy, man. So one of the things I see that I've seen in other markets is a lot of time when people buy houses or have an interest in buying houses, they want to buy this house if A, B, and C happen, or maybe just A, B, or happens, whatever. For example, let's say they love this house, but they want chickens.
Yeah.
Right. And they're concerned to put the offer in because if they can't have chickens, they don't want to buy the house, right? And it's not everybody wants chickens. It's a weird example, but we're going to roll with it. I have seen and heard in this market moving as fast as it is, people losing deals left and right because they are valid concern. They don't want to buy a house if it doesn't meet their needs. How, as an attorney or as somebody that helps people structure contracts, what would you advise people to do? Like, if there's something they got to have, how do we address this? How do we make sure we're not buying a house that doesn't fit their needs?
Right. So I get this question all the time, and it's usually at 10 o'clock at night or whatever on my phone. I've got to put in this order. I got to put in this order or this contract. Got to put in this contract, and they want chickens. So that's a great example. They want chickens. Put in the contract, guys. Put in the contract. First of all, even if you don't get it in there, even if you don't get it in the contract, keep in mind you have a due diligence period. And I'll have my seller clients get mad at me for this. I had a seller client call into a radio show one time and say, well, it wasn't a client, it was just a seller, and they were like, wait a minute, you're telling me that I can list my property and someone can put me under contract and just hold me up from selling it? Yep, they can. That's the way it works here, and that's the due diligence period. I mean, so the truth is, you know, it's there to protect the buyer and have their due diligence period, but get in and figure out whether you want to buy the home or not. That's just the way it works right now. And
Sure.
so for you buyer agents out there with that question that comes up, please don't wait to submit your contracts. But having said that, if you want it in there, it's an easy thing to do. First of all, there's that additional provisions. You can write that in there. Call the attorney you're working with, and it's not just me. Call the attorney you're working with, and there's plenty of them. If you're working with a good attorney, they will get you an answer on that and get you the wording you need to throw in there. And if they need to draw up a little agreement for you, most attorneys are going to want you to get under contract. They want you to get that contract, and the faster you can do that, you know, it can come down to hours sometimes in the seller's market. You don't want to hold up a contract over that kind of thing. So you know, that's sort of, I know that's not the perfect answer, but don't wait.
It kind of is. It kind of is though. So, and this is a question I'm about to ask, and it's literally just my personal ignorance because I'm not a practicing agent within the Asheville market. What is the typical, and this is for any buyer that may be watching this or just somebody that's outside of the real estate community, if I wanted to buy a house in the North Carolina market, how long do I have to figure all that stuff out? I mean, what is my due diligence period? How long do I have?
Yeah, typically it's 2 or 3 weeks, I guess, give or take. It really depends on the situation. You know, if you're a buyer, I mean, let's say you're buying a piece of land, you may not care. You want to see if it's buildable. You know, other than that, if it's a house, you want to have time for an inspection, maybe a survey. You're getting a survey if you're asking me, by the way, but that's a whole nother show.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, it's 2 or 3 weeks to really look and see if there's anything wrong with the homes and find out what repairs might need to be made and see if the seller will make them. They don't have to. And if they won't, that gives you time to back out. It's sort of like, I want this, here's everything wrong with the house. The seller will say, I'll fix this, and you decide whether that's good enough or not. And the seller, you either come to agreement or you don't, you can back out at that point.
Well, this next piece is half because I don't know, half because I'm about to be a buyer.
Sure.
In the North Carolina or the local contract or whatever, is there? I guess what am I trying to say? If I was going to make an offer on something and I had a concern, is there a carte blanche I can get out during this due diligence period, or do I have to get out based on certain provisions I've written in?
No, you can back out for any reason or no reason. You can back out because the wind blew the wrong way that day.
Wow. So, I mean, that obviously from a buyer's perspective, that's awesome, but from a seller's perspective, that's concerning.
It is. So when these things are being negotiated, you can ask for, as a seller, here's how you approach that. If you're concerned with that, you ask for a large due diligence payment as opposed to small, because that you keep regardless. Unless the seller breaches contract, you keep the due diligence money. The earnest money is different. Due diligence. So we have due diligence up here, as opposed to
that's brand new to me. And where I'm coming from, we got earnest money, and that's it.
That's it. Yeah. Here we have due diligence. So I'm paying this. It's not very much usually. I'm paying typically the seller. I'm paying $200 or $300 to them. They keep that regardless of whether I back out or not. And that
so the buyer pays the seller due diligence
directly right away. And so I'm taking your house off the market. If I back out, enjoy the $300.
Okay, so that's even okay. So that actually makes more sense to me because down in Florida, and again, I apologize for anybody watching that's not in Florida. We have earnest money, which is basically comical. It's good faith money that I can get back. But so basically, due diligence is really, hey, you're going to take your house off the market. here's this amount of money. I appreciate that while I figured out. If I figure out I don't like it, yes, I can walk away, but you keep that money. Is
Yeah.
that correct?
Yes, but I'll tell you, traditionally it's very low. It's almost nominal, $100, $200, $300. But I have seen much more. Some sellers are like, we're going to find out who's serious. You're going to give me $1,000 due diligence. It happens.
Well, I guess in this market, there's times that they could command that just because of how hot this market has been.
Seller's market.
Interesting.
If you say I'll accept your bid, but you're going to give me 1,000 due diligence, you got to sit back as a buyer and decide whether you really, really want that house or not. It's a good way to find out. And so there are ways to negotiate it from both sides. But as far as I'm here to help clients, of course, ultimately, and if they call me, but most of the time I'm getting these questions from realtors. And the listing agents out there representing a seller, they're getting, frankly, right now in this market, this might swing one day, and then I'll be taking a lot of listing agent questions instead. But right now they're getting hit with 6, 7 offers on a house, so they're okay. They're swimming in it. They're happy. The buyer's agents, I'm trying to help get under contract because they're competing with everyone else, and their person wants chickens. And the 5 other people may not want chickens. That doesn't
They're good without chickens.
And that doesn't mean they can't get the property, get chickens, get all of that. The worry I always have is they're going to miss out. They're going to be so far behind in the bidding process, they're going to go under contract and miss it while trying to find out if they can have chickens. And that's so unnecessary. Ask your attorney quickly, and for goodness sakes, get that thing under contract. We can figure it out during due diligence. I get that question a lot.
That makes sense, because that'd be really shitty if you found out that not only did you lose the house, but they encouraged chickens.
Yeah, exactly. And it could happen. And most of the time, a lot of times, that is exactly what I've literally had this happen, where a realtor wanted to know, can they have this? Can they have that? And when I went to look and I wrote them back. And I mean, this was, I'm telling you, an hour or two later, they go, they went under contract with someone else. I'm like, submit the offer.
It's crazy. Well,
yeah.
I think the important message there is if we're a buyer or if we're an agent representing a buyer, rely on your team, rely on your professionals that you work with,
100%.
Reach out to your attorneys.
It's the collaboration you talked about.
Agree. And obviously, you're here on the show, but I got to do my Switzerland piece here. Whoever you're working with, I think the importance is to have a partner, an attorney in your team, and your bag of professionals that you can rely on. And if you don't have that, you should find that, because in a fast moving market, it's essential.
That goes for attorneys. That goes for lenders. That goes for surveyors, inspectors, all kinds of them. Get those people you work well with, because the 5 smooth deals that have no problems, you're never going to need them. That 6th deal has a lot of problems. That's when you need to make sure you have a great team, because that's when it's all going to blow up if you don't.
I agree. Well said. Well, dude, I've enjoyed chatting with you. I thank you so much. I'm so sorry that we apparently were not live at all, but as soon as we are recording though. So I am going to be posting this on Facebook. For anybody that tunes in, I'm so sorry we weren't able to grab live questions, but if you do see this and you've got a question for Zeno Lancaster or anything, any way that we can help you, please do drop a comment below, and we'll make sure you get answered somehow, some way. It may not be live, but it will be answered. So Zeno, brother, I appreciate it, dude. Thank you so much. Good luck with the hair thing, dude.
Thanks,
I really hope that works out. But
next time I'm on, I want it to be like up here.
Dude, like we got like 2 weeks. I'm gonna circle back around. It's gonna be like this. But this one I'm gonna do for you. I'm coming to town because I gotta be back in town next week. I'm bringing my clippers, brother. So I'll tie it.
Let's do it.
So, I mean, I gotta put it on like a broomstick so I can be 6 feet away. Could get sketchy, but I'll do that for you. Anyways, good, man, I hope you have a good night. Tell Daisy she's a good girl. It's a girl, right?
She is a girl.
All right. Tell Daisy she's a good girl, and I appreciate her participating tonight. And I will see you around town very soon, brother. I'll talk with you soon.
Sounds good, Charles.
All right, man. Bye-bye.
Yeah.